And we live. Good. Okay. So welcome everybody to this unique conversation between two yogis. My name is Tahir. I'm a Shri Shri yoga teacher based in the UK, and my amazing partner over here, Vidur. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, hello. Namaskar. My name is Vidur Varma. I'm a Shri Shri yoga teacher also. And I'm delighted to be here with you, having a conversation with Tahir, who I have great admiration for as a yoga teacher. So not only am I a yoga teacher, but I'm also a yoga student, and which is something I think all of us as teachers are.
I think that's such a beautiful way to be as well, in that constant state of learning, willing to learn something new, that student mentality. Very, very important, especially on the path.
Yeah, that's true. And I think from each other, we learn so much. And especially when we teach and share the learnings of our gurus about yoga, we learn so much when our students ask us questions. And that's what makes us think, and that's what makes us ask those questions then to ourselves and go deeper into the practice. So I think that's something which also amazes me, and I just love it.
Sounds amazing. So just maybe before we start, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, wonderful. I would be delighted. So I worked for over 20 years in a banking career internationally across multiple places across the world. And then I realized that my life wasn't complete. To complete my life, I wanted to bring all the elements, all the roles that I have, bring all those together. And to do that, I said, let me pursue yoga. So I was fortunate to go to Art of Living, and under Gurudev's guidance, I did multiple courses, and then I went to the ashram and for a month learned how not only yoga, how to practice, and also how to become a teacher. So since early last year, I have been devoting my time and attention to teaching yoga. So that's been my journey. Tahir, tell us about yourself.
Myself, so I'm originally from Zimbabwe in Africa. So from the Art of Living, I came across this yoga path, and I'm a medical doctor by profession. I work in a hospital. I work in orthopedics, so broken bones, fractures, dislocations, that kind of thing. So I think for me, learning, understanding yoga came a little bit more easy, because doing the postures, doing the asanas, doing all the pranayamas, that kind of thing. Coming from a medical background, I could understand what yoga does, the effects of it, why it's good for you. So I could relate to it a lot more easily. And I think for me, the combination of my medical background plus this holistic element of the spirituality, of the yoga, of the meditation, for me brings that nice balance to my life. So I'm not too intellectual, I'm not too spiritual. It's a nice combination of the two, which brings me to that path of yoga.
And especially in these times, Tahir, I'm sure you must be really busy. Now, have you found that the practice of yoga helps more during these times this year with all the challenges for all of us?
Definitely, 100%. I mean, that's the thing when it comes to yoga. I mean, there's so many misconceptions of what yoga is, and there's this stereotypical image of a very young, small, petite Caucasian lady doing yoga, and she's very flexible, and she's bending down, touching her toes, and squeezing into a small little ball kind of thing. For me, that is not yoga. For me, yoga is a lifestyle. Yoga is something which you can do, on any day, um, wherever you can, wherever you want to be. It's the mindset of being present in the moment, and the physical aspect of it. So the postures, the asanas are a way to become present in the moment. And so the combination of the physical element, the the pranayamas, the breathing exercises, the meditation practices just kind of help to be centered, to be focused in the moment. And being in the moment, that for me is what yoga is. Because when you're in the moment, that is where happiness is. You're not worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to be in the future. You're not worried about something that happened previously a few years ago. You're just living in the moment, and you're enjoying it. And for me, that is very special. That is what yoga is, just being in the moment, being connected.
Yeah, I also feel exactly the same way. The past has already happened. It doesn't exist. A sum total of whatever has happened in the past is this moment now. So I am the way I am for all the actions that I've done, what's happened to me, which has been in the past. And the future is yet to come, which has infinite possibilities. And the way I respond to those opportunities will decide what's going to happen in the future. And it's yet to come. So all that we have is this moment now. And you rightly said, being in the moment, I felt was really tough initially because your mind would distract. I would think about all the people who did wrong to me, all the situations that I didn't handle really well. I would blame myself and then I would worry about the future. So back, forward, back, forward. And then I realized that one thing which helps me all the time, which is there as a friend for me, is my breath. I can't live without it. I have to breathe in and breathe out. If I stop breathing in, I'll be no more. If I stop breathing out, I'll be no more. So the breath is a friend. And what it tells you is to come to this moment now. And the beauty about yoga for me is the harmony, the balance in life. So you're not worried about the past, you're not worried about the future, you're at this moment now. And to come into this moment, starting from the body and then going to the breath and then the mind. And coming in this moment is yoga. And I know, Tahir, you talk a lot about these three elements. Tell us a little bit more about the body, the mind, and the breath. How do you think these work together?
Oh, that's for me the purpose of my yoga class. When we talk about yoga, as I mentioned, it's not just the physical element. So the word yoga, as we all know, comes from a Sanskrit word yuj, which means union. And the union is of the body, the breath, and the mind. So when these three come into harmony, come into balance, when these three are together, united, that is when yoga happens. So, for example, when you're going to the gym, you're working on the body, you're doing your stretches, you're doing all the physical element of the body. But how is your mind? Are you focused? Are you relaxed? Are you centered? Are you, as you mentioned, in the moment? Very, very rarely. And that is the beauty of yoga, is when you do the physical postures, but in link with the breath. So, for example, when I'm stretching my hand up, I'm breathing in as I come up. When I bring my hand down, I'm breathing out as I come down. So, the movement of the body with the combination of the breath, with the attention on the body. So, as I'm moving, all my attention, all my focus is on the arm, going up and going down. And it's this combination of the physical posture moving with the breath and the attention, the focus, is what brings that relaxation, that harmony, that beauty of what yoga is.
Yeah, that's true. And I really like this point that you talked about on attention. Because, when suppose your finger hurts, your whole attention is towards that finger, right? And if something else starts to hurt, then you take your attention elsewhere. So wherever you take your attention, your energy tends to flow there. And becoming aware of what is happening to your body, what is happening to that energy. So yoga, then, the point that you mentioned on attention is the element of awareness, right? So in our practice of yoga, to make it more holistic, we are aware of how we are feeling. So when you close your eyes, sit down, take a deep breath in and breathe out, and then you come in the moment, and then you bring yourself to become aware of how you're feeling, because that's the starting point of being aware. Most times we lead through our lives not knowing, not breathing deeply, and just go through like it's a remote control and just going on. And we don't really pause, look at the scenery, admire these things. So I think in our practice, bringing that element of coming in the moment and then bringing your attention, your awareness to yourself, to your breath, I think is something that I really enjoy.
Definitely, I completely agree. And I like the way you said moving from the scenery. I mean, there's one of the definitions of yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodha, which is a Sanskrit definition, which means restraining the thought waves is yoga. So as we mentioned, we have the physical element of yoga, becoming aware of the body when we do yoga. We have the pranayamas, which are breathing exercises, which you focus on the breath, taking your attention to the breath. But when it comes to the mind, this definition is very useful. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha, restraining the thought waves, calming the mind down. That is yoga. So if, on average, people always, so many thoughts going in their mind, so many ideas going in their mind, so many activities in the mind. And I'll just very quickly, briefly mention, usually there's only 5 different activities of the mind in which your mind dwells during the day. So the first is looking for proof, always wanting to look for something. What's the proof? What's the evidence of this? The second is wrong knowledge, fantasy, memory, and sleep. So at any point in time, the mind is always engaged in one of these 5 activities. But by restraining the mind, by calming the mind, relaxing the mind, that is when yoga happens and you turn the mind inwards. As you said, focusing on what's happening inside in the mind. What's happening in my thoughts? What's happening in my emotions? And just observing, just watching, and just being okay with it. And that is, as you mentioned, bringing your mind to the present moment, to that calming sense, that realization, okay, who am I? What's happening in this body, in this mind?
Yeah, this being a witness to yourself. So in yoga, there is a saying, drishtu swarupe avasthanam, that when you shift the focus from the scenery to the seer and you become aware of yourself, I think that is the time that you're able to calm your mind. So we see a scenery, we say, beautiful scenery. And it's with the sight that we recognize the scenery. But the moment you shift from there and look at yourself, the seer, which is being a witness to yourself. And I think that's what really does when we do our practice of yoga. Let's, Tariq, talk about our foundation program a little bit, right? What are your thoughts of these 4 days that we have, 2 hours each? How do you think that works together in terms of a program?
Oh, well, there's not enough time to go into all of that. But so as at the moment, what we're doing is we're doing regular classes every day. We have 1 hour in the morning and we have 1 hour in the evening, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. We have a whole range of teachers across the country who are teaching on a daily basis. Amazing classes, amazing sessions, amazing teachers. And that 1 hour session on a daily basis is obviously very good, very enjoyable. Getting that practice, getting that experience of what yoga is. But the difference between a 1 hour session and the foundation program, which is coming up, is in the foundation program, there's a lot more depth. You have a lot more time to go into the postures, to go into the pranayamas, the breathing exercises, and to experience the meditations as well, as we mentioned, to calm the mind, to relax the mind. So going a lot more time, a lot more interactions. Okay, let's do this, and what do you think of this? And chatting with the students as well, getting their feedback. How do you feel on a daily basis? What does this position do for you? How does this breathing exercise work for you? It's a very interactive course, interactive processes, which is designed in a way to give the very deep experience of what yoga is, as you were mentioning. And so it's a 4-day course from the 27th to the 30th of August, which is starting this coming weekend from Thursday through to Sunday, 2 hours a day. So I know you've also taught this course quite a few times. What has been your experience of teaching this?
Yes, I completely agree with what you've said. And I think it helps us work with the participants to build on. And it's not only about what they learn, the correct way of doing an asana, so that they can get the maximum for their body, for their health, for strength, flexibility, but they can practice because we build on those set of asanas and add more over those 4 days. So you learn the first day, you practice, next day you learn a little bit more, practice, you have questions, we answer them, and then we build on. So it's actually the learning experience and building on where the asana practice is. On the breathing, we teach you pranayams. So I know in many of our classes, we also share, do pranayam and we do practice, but we also tell you the science behind that. And we covered many types of pranayams. And what binds all this together is the knowledge aspect, I think, which actually acts like a glue, which is what we'll share over the 4 days. And the last point, which I really love, is the relaxation piece, right? Most times we feel stressed because of things that happen around us. And these are about people, about things, about situations, and our response to them. With the yoga practice, and you'll see how we build it up, you will learn to become a little bit more aware of yourself so that you can respond to that in a more meaningful way, so you can manage the stress, because stress is going to be there. Things happen all around us. So ability to manage that. So I think with a lot of participants, I've seen that as they go through the foundation program and with the discipline of 1, 2, 3, 4 days, they're really able to pick those learnings up and implement in their life.
Definitely, I completely agree with that. And it's also the things we talk about on the workshop, the physical element, the asanas, the breathing practices, the meditations. They're very simple. Anybody can do it. You don't need to be very highly intellectual, very young, very old, this race, this culture, this background. It's very unique, very diverse. It's open to anybody and everybody, and it speaks to literally everybody. Something so simple, you're using the breath to calm the mind. But something that's so profound, I think I've noticed in my experience so far, is that so simple, so easy to do, to practice on a daily basis. But then the effect of it, wow.
Yeah. The other thing I've seen with participants is that they're able to build a personal yoga plan, right? So they know what to do, how to do it. So either they follow structured classes, or even if they want to practice on their own time, they know what to do and how to do it. So this is something which helps them build that discipline, which what a foundation program really brings to the participants. Let's talk about the questions. What kind of questions have you typically got, Tahir? And I know we do so many sessions with students, but what are the typical kind of questions, right? If there was a Q&A, how would that sound? So tell me your most frequently asked questions by participants.
Well, from my experience, I think the number one question that I almost always get asked by everybody is, I'm not flexible enough. I can't come to your class. And then my immediate response is, you don't need to be flexible. That's the point of the yoga class. You don't need to be able to. And it's weird enough, it's almost always the common example that I get is, I can't bend down to touch my toes.
Right.
You don't need to do that. You got this very typical, stereotypical image on people's minds of a very young, a very slim, very petite, very flexible, and usually young lady who's the typical yoga character. And that's what people have in their mind, that I need to be that kind of character, these traits I need to have in order to do a yoga class. But I'm sure you have experience as well in your classes. We get people of all different sizes, different age groups, different backgrounds, different cultures, different nationalities. And it doesn't matter, the size, shape, whatever you are. It's the willingness to actually give it a go and just to see what happens. It's an experience. And it's that, I think that is also what yoga is breaking down those barriers that we put up in our own mind, that I need to be like this, I need to do this. And yoga is also challenging that. You don't need to be a typical, stereotypical something. It's something universal, open to anybody, everybody.
One of the things that I get asked when I talk to people about yoga is that, is it too laid back and stretchy? And will it help me become stronger? Do I get the strength? So many times I have to tell people that, come, let's get on the yoga mat. And you'll see that when you have to hold an asana for a little longer and breathe into it, how tough it becomes. So when you practice yoga, you build that strength. Now, in yoga, strength comes by repeating the asanas, or it could be just by holding the asanas. But in addition to getting flexibility, which you get as you practice, you also become stronger. And it's not just about building muscles up, it's about becoming stronger so that you can protect your body, you can ensure that you're healthy, and that well-being aspect. And surprisingly, I have a lot of participants and students that come to my classes that are runners, that are cyclists, that do many other elements in terms of building their body. But they always come back later as they practice and say that this is something that really not only strengthens and makes me flexible, but also relaxes me. And aches and pains that I have after doing some sports or anything else, or a full day at office, or sitting in front of the computer all the time with the neck and the hand, all of those things I'm able to just resolve easily with yoga. So those are the kind of typical questions I get, and it's very interesting to hear the students talk about it. What do you think, Tariq, is one of the biggest challenges for people, because not everybody is disciplined, right? You come one day and then you don't come the next day. So how do you think the foundation program will help create that discipline?
Well, I think just going on with your previous answer to answering your question as well, yoga caters to so much. So, for example, if you're looking for strength, you can get that. If you're looking to build flexibility, you can get that. If you're looking to build up your endurance, you can get that. If you're looking for peace of mind, relaxation of the mind, you can get that. So, just deciding on, there's so many different aspects, so many benefits of the practice, and deciding, okay, this is what I would like to gain from my practice. And I think for me, one of my things that I challenge my students is give it at least 40 days. Do the practice on your own, or in a group, or a class, or at the moment online, whatever you can do, and just give it some time, and then after the 40 days on average is a good amount of time to kind of give a good amount of time to relax and experience it. And once they've done that, then you decide for yourself, is this for me? Do I like it? You can actually properly experience the benefits, the good things, the bad things yourself, and then you make a decision. But the thing with discipline is, it's a very beautiful definition in the Patanjali texts as well, Yoga Sutras. There's two types of discipline. Discipline, one of them is that which is imposed on you. So, for example, when you're a child, your mother stands by you, first thing in the morning to brush your teeth, until you develop that discipline on your own. And the second type of discipline is self-imposed. So I need to do this for myself. I need to go to the gym. I need to look after my mental health. I need to have a shower every day. I need to eat right. I need to sleep right. All these things are self-imposed disciplines. And when it comes to any discipline, any practice, for example, one of the key tools to remember is, for that to become established, it needs to be practiced for a period of time, without a gap, with honor, with respect. Then that practice will become firmly established. So people starting out on the path of yoga, give it some time with a bit of discipline, but with honor and respect, honoring that 20 minutes, that 1 hour that you give to yourself. Okay, this is my time, this is my space. Put the phone away, put the WhatsApp messages off for 10 minutes, and just give yourself that respect, that honor to yourself, and just see what happens.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think doing it for a period of time is something. And in the course, we'll give you all the tools. We'll help you make the plan. We'll answer all your questions. And the other thing which is exciting is that there are two of us leading the course. So while one is teaching, the other is observing, and then we can give you feedback, and then we can work together to help you improve your practice. And I think that's something which, in the environment we are right now, we are able to do it very effectively. And that's something which is really good, which I'm excited about. Now, just one quiz question for you, Tahir, and I know we haven't prepared for this. So what do you think your mind is like? Is your mind like a lake where, there are ripples and movements? If you throw a stone and ideas come in? or is it like a monkey? So is your mind like a lake or a monkey?
I would say probably more like a monkey, to be honest. Being in the medical profession, I'm constantly bombarded by patients, medications, this, that, the other kind of thing. So there's constant stimulation going on in the mind. So
And how does so that's how the mind keeps wandering everywhere for all of us, right? And I think the lake is also an interesting analogy, simply because when you throw a stone in the lake, you see the ripples come. And then gradually the ripples gently soften up, and then the lake becomes calm again. But maybe there, if you go down a layer below, then there is some ripples that are still there, which gently calm. So our intent in the foundation program is help you take your mind from being a monkey mind to being like in a lake, having that peace and calm and knowing how to do that. Does that sum up right, Tahir, or is it too far-fetched?
Beautiful, beautifully said. Well done. Like, it's amazing. I love the description of the lake and the waves and all. And that's pretty much what the mind is, isn't it? It's the, like you mentioned, the ripples on the water. That's all the thoughts that keep on coming, the ideas that keep on coming. But when you're able to calm the ripples, you can actually see the depth of the lake. And in this case, the depth of us, that joy, that happiness, that peace of mind, that relaxation can only come up once those ripples start settling down. So beautifully said, Vidur. I love that definition.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad. And just to clarify, it's not just the philosophy we talk. We will really get you down on the mat, and you may sweat a little too, and you will really learn how to do the asanas really well.
We'll bring out the big guns on the mat.
That's true. That's true. So
Brilliant.
that's wonderful.
Great. So just for everybody to know, we're running a Sri Sri Yoga Foundation program once again from the 27th to the 30th of August. That's this coming Thursday through to Sunday, 2 hours a day, Thursday and Friday evening, and Saturday and Sunday morning. We have two amazing teachers, myself and the amazing Vidur as well, who will be teaching the course. Welcome to come and join us to experience something different, something new, something exciting.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us.
See you soon.